Yo, yo, we back. Let's get it.
Sanctioned by the new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building. Y'all know what time it is, man. Got my big bro once again in the building. It feels like it's been forever. And,
yes.
You know,
yes.
With how many shows we do, you know what I mean? It feels like it's been forever. Shout out to my big bro, Wasted Talent. What's good with you, King?
Bro, I'm feeling excellent, bro. And you know what? I feel good because we get a show going over somebody else's critiques. Like we get criticized for our critiques on everything.
Yes, all the time.
It's good to shit on somebody else.
We're gonna, for those who do not know, we're gonna be talking about Mel Viper, you know, the snake. They call him Mel Kiper, Mel Capper, you know, whatever you want to call him. You know what I mean? We're definitely gonna be talking about the so-called draft guru. We're gonna talk about what he said about our particular draft, this 2023 draft. And we're also going to talk about a lot of whiffs that he's had in the past, you know what I mean, to kind of show where we are with this, you know what I mean? So, you know, shout out to everybody here in the building, whether you guys are watching on Raider Nation Unlimited or OakLosVegas Raiders Network, it does not matter. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, wipe your feet real quick, pay your bar tabs. Also, our brother Wasted needs about 30, 40 more subs to get to 7K. It would be a beautiful thing, you guys. If we could somehow, some way do that on this live, it would mean a lot to me. You know what I mean? Because I've been here since day one. It'd be really, really dope if you guys can stop what you're doing, go over to Wasters, hit that subscribe button, and let's hit that 7K, the lucky number 7 tonight.
You know what? If we hit 7K tonight, man, we are going to have a celebration of mythic proportions later this week. Mythic proportions. You guys, listen, we're going to have people exploding out of cannons. It's going to be fucking debauchery.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
Real talk. We're going to have midgets jumping out of Woodson whiskey bottles. It's going to be some, it's going to be some fun times, man. Once again, real quick, salute to Woodson whiskey. You already know our proud sponsor, man. Shout out to our guys over there, Jay, Joe, Chuck the GOAT. You already know what time it is. Tony says, I'll unsubscribe and then subscribe. Laugh out loud.
That's right. Right.
Raiders Now says, imagine not being subscribed to Wasted. Couldn't it be me? Salute to our dog, Raiders Now. Shout out to Steve. I'm here for my brothers. Love y'all. Keep up the amazing work. We love you too, brother. Thank you so much for pulling up and shooting the shit with us tonight. Shout out to Raider John as well. He said, who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway? Talk that talk, King.
You remember that? Who the hell's Mel Kiper Jr. anyway, man? that GM for the Colts.
Yes, I do remember. Hey, that was one of the battles of the late 80s, early 90s. Was it the 90s?
It was the early 90s. That was a year. You know, the pass on Trent Dilfer.
Yes.
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 Hold on. We got to go full Mel Kiper now. To pass on a player like Trent Dilfer. I mean, you take Trev Albert. You know, it's a guy you could have gotten second round, man. It's ridiculous.
For some reason, every voice has John Gruden's written like that. It just sounds.
Well, actually, John Gruden and I are brothers, man. So.
Shout out to Mel Sniper. That's what we're going to call that one right there. Salute to our dog O as well. The Cardinals saved us from ourselves. I lost it with skipping on Carter, but getting OT with first round pick in somebody's house was getting egged. I lost faith. Yeah, so for those who don't know what Omar's talking about, the Cardinals definitely took Paris Johnson right before us. Thank God, because we probably would have ended up with Paris Johnson. I think he's going to be a good pro. Don't get me wrong, but just thank God we went with the defensive line and not the offensive line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you know what it is, man. It's not that Paris Johnson is not going to be a guy who's a perennial Pro Bowler. I see perennial Pro Bowler written all over him.
Yeah.
The problem with the Raiders is that is not our biggest positional group of need.
No.
We need to be able in the AFC West to knock the head off of the body of these teams. We need to hit these quarterbacks, bro. And that's something that we haven't done. We need to take the ball away and we need to stop drives.
Yep.
You know, the way that you're going to beat a Patrick Mahomes is to hit him. And we haven't had the guy besides Max to be able to get after him. And it's good that we finally have two guys that are, you know, evenly yoked on the end to try to get after him.
And does it make any sense? We trade for Heron last year. A lot of people tend to forget that we have him. We re-signed Jermaine Illuminor. Like, you know what I mean? We drafted Mumford last year. Like, it just, to me, it's like you're drafting a guy and pretty much already saying adios to the other guys you brought in. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like I want to see these young guys fight for that right tackle spot. And I don't, you know, I think Paris Johnson would have won it, but I also believe we do have that edge rusher when healthy, and hopefully Tyree is ready to go this season and then some. I think we got a guy that's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler and potentially all pro guy. And so I think we did hit. I know, Wasted, you were we were all a little confused at first, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we're drinking the Kool-Aid now. It is what it is. You can never have too many pass rushers at the end of the day, so I'm happy with it. Shout out to Kenny Mack, man. Smelly Smell Kiper with his plate on. What is that? Pompadour hairdo.
Oh, he definitely has a pompadour.
Give it back to Elvis. Shout out to our dog Kenny Mack on the $10 special. So shout out to everybody here in the building, man. Let's get to it. So basically, you guys, this is what happened. My brother Wasted hit me. I had no clue. He said, yo, we need to do a show, man. And I was like, well, you know, we do a million of them. He's like, no. This one in particular, have you read the Mel Kiper, you know, grades or whatnot, right? I was like, nah, I haven't checked it out. He said, pretty much we were one of the bottom rated teams in this draft in Mel Kiper's eyes. And, you know, I went and did my homework and kind of found this article, read it or whatnot. And I was like, damn, bro, like this dude thinks we did not hit on anything after the second round. Nothing. Like Jacorian Bennett, how do we not hit with that? I mean, you know, look, you know, you win. I get the Trey Tucker, you know, I get it, you guys. I know a lot of people are pissed about that. I think he's going to turn heads and make people understand why we took him there. But Byron Young, like, he just basically said that we pretty much shit the bed after round 2. So, you know, what I want to do right now is I want to present this real quick, share the screen, and we're going to go over this article real quick on Yahoo Sports. Real quick. Can you see that, big bro?
Yeah, I can see it.
Shout out to Marcus Mosher. Mel Kiper Jr. gives the Raiders grade a B- for the 2023 draft class. And, you know, you hear B-, right? And you're like, oh, that's not bad. But then you look at all the other teams in front of us and you're like, wait, holy shit. Like how did he grade them higher than us? Okay, so we're going to go over this over this article first, and then we're going to show you something afterwards that it's probably going to ease the blow a little bit. I mean, we really don't give a fuck what Mel Kiper thinks anyway, but let's talk about it. When it comes to the NFL draft, no one has been doing it better or longer than Mel Kiper Jr. I disagree. The 2023 NFL draft marked his 40th season, that's actually dope, covering the draft, and he was pretty pleased by the overall class. Nah, I think he's kind of adding a little extras to it. In a recent article by Kiper, he graded every team's draft class after the conclusion of the 2023 NFL draft. The Raiders got a solid grade of B-, with Kiper's biggest complaints coming after the selections of Tyree Wilson and Michael Mayer. Here goes Mel Kiper. I had a 5th-round grade on defensive tackle Byron Young. That's crazy. And a 6th-round grade on quarterback Aiden O'Connell. I agree with that. Wideout Trey Tucker went around early. So he had him going in the 4th. I like the choice of safety Christopher Smith at 170, but his tape is much better than his measurables, and I don't know if he'll ever develop into a starter. I definitely disagree with that. How do you feel about that assessment, bro?
Bro, it's ridiculous, man, because, you know, when you evaluate these guys, measurables are a piece of it, right? But, I mean, you said his tape is better. That's a good thing. I mean, to me, if a guy has phenomenal tape, man, in the SEC, and I'm talking about Christopher Smith. I know, you know what I mean, kind of jumped around here a little bit. But the thing is how can you make, like, how is that a knock?
Yeah.
How's that a knock? How can you get upset at a team by looking at a player's tape and seeing that skill set is going to line up with what you got going on in your building?
Bro,
play for a national championship team. Man.
His tape is better than his measurables. That's like literally saying, oh, no, his tape is it's phenomenal. It's just he don't look right. Like,
yeah, it don't make any sense to me, bro.
Like, how does that even? Yeah, and Mel Kiper, you've been here for 40 years, bro. That
Mel
is
Kiper's a fucking scrub. He's a scrub.
Real quick before we finish this up, right? I'm gonna go Ocean Boy. Shout out to him. Can you see us moving Wilson around inside the same way the Niners move Buckner, the defensive tackle, from edge eventually? Now, I know me and Big Bro, we look at this a little different, right? I look at a guy as a guy that could potentially move up and down the defensive line. I think he could be pushed into the inside on obvious pass downs. He does not have the body to play the run yet. I do not believe, but I think he can be there in obvious pass downs. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to do those NASCAR packages and stuff like that, where you want to throw your best edge rusher out there to get to the quarterback, I think he can translate in the interior of the defensive line. But moving him there just entirely, no. This guy is an edge rusher by trade. I don't see him moving inside predominantly at all. But I do think that we're going to move him around a little bit. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they're going to move him around. But the thing is, he's going to be primarily an edge, man. If you look at a lot of his skill set, man, he hasn't really developed enough for them to take him off the edge. He's really just a supreme athlete who really doesn't have any pass rush skills. And I know he's going to develop that playing with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. The thing about Tyree Wilson that concerns me is, by him being a green guy, does he get low enough to play in the interior of the defense? Because that's not what I see from him.
Yeah.
I see him being just a supreme athlete who gets off the ball fast, has a quick first step, and kind of doesn't really know how to hunt yet. For you to play in the interior of the defense, you got to be really good with hand placement, all of that kind of stuff. He's not there yet, so I don't see them doing that too much.
It's going to take some time, but I do believe at some point they'll move him around a little bit. Shout out to GA. Kuiper's a scrub. Shout out to our dog. Let's get one more super in before we finish up. Speaking of whiffs, Docs, weren't you the one for months banging the drum for Levis? No team wanted that bum in the first round. We're all just guessing at this point. Take 2 years to judge a draft. Now let me say this, old school. By your measure, right? By what you're saying, right? We've seen guys drop all the time. We've seen Aaron Rodgers drop into the 20s, or damn near. Where was he? 21 or 18?
He was like 18. He was in the late teens.
Yeah, somewhere around there, right? Dropped immensely. Russell Wilson dropped to the third round, right? Like, I get what you're saying, but we haven't even seen this guy play it down yet, old school. You got to kind of pump the brakes on that. And I think that he is a quarterback in this year that is going to see the field at some point, because Ryan Tannehill is he's on his way out. He has one more year left on his deal. They were already trying to move on from him. And then, it looks as though their second-year guy that they drafted in the third round last year, they're already trying to get rid of him right now. You know what I mean? So I think Levis is probably going to see the field this year. You know what I mean? So
he definitely will. Malik Willis is a guy that might not make it out of camp. They set Malik Willis up for failure last year anyway. I think it's sad what they're doing to that kid.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Yeah, listen, Will Levis is a guy that they really probably wanted to move on from Ryan Tannehill, and there was really no market for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
Ryan Tannehill probably will be sat down if he doesn't play extremely well by week 5. Will Levis will be playing.
There was one team that I heard that was in the hunt with Tannehill, and it was the Atlanta Falcons. That's the only team that I heard that had some type of interest in bringing in the veteran out there. They have Desmond Ridder. I could have seen him come over there and kind of help him, the transition to the NFL. But all I'm saying is, you guys, you got to give that man at least let him play a snap, let him play a few series before we really just jump on this dude. Like, you know what I mean? So, hey, I may be wrong.
But you may be right. He hasn't played a fucking down yet. How could you make that assessment and the guy hasn't even played a down yet?
Yeah.
Where you're drafted has no bearing on how you actually play. That might be a blessing that he got drafted over there.
Exactly. Let's finish up this article real quick. Wilson will start, and Mayer is the ready-made replacement for Darren Waller, but I don't see the value with the rest of this class. I repeat, I do not see the value with the rest of this class. That's crazy because you got a guy that was supposed to go in the top 3 rounds with Christopher, with Chris Smith. I don't see what this guy is saying. Like, how do you not see any value with the rest of this class? Like, even if let's just say Trey Tucker was supposed to be a 4th rounder and you got him in the 3rd, like, is that much of a difference? Byron Young, he had him as a 5th. What do you say? A 5th rounder?
A 5th rounder.
The consensus had him at 74. We took him at 70. So that value is still there. I mean, technically it's a little off by their standard, but it was still there. So I just don't really understand what he's saying. It does seem like the Raiders might have reached some on day 2 and day 3 of the draft, but they got players at positions of need. That is the big thing. That's the big thing. Young, Tucker, and Smith should be able to find roles as rookies, and O'Connell should be able to become the backup quarterback by 2024. So while this isn't the highest graded class by any means for Kiper, he still liked the class overall. And if the Raiders hit on Wilson and Mayer, the rest of the class will just be an afterthought. And at this point, it's sad because we're just screaming for this team to just hit on early round picks. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, if you hit round 1 and round 2, thank God. Like, shit, you know what I mean? Like, now we can kill that.
That's a great draft at that point for us.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I don't see how you couldn't find value with some of these guys that we got. The DT with Jay in the 7th round. Some people had him going in the 4th or 5th round. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of value with some of these guys. I mean, Jacorian Bennett, where we got him, come on, man. Like, how is that not value?
Mel Kiper Jr. fails to realize something. Value and the way he has players rated is subjective. For the Raiders, a lot of these guys are going to be starters, bro.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders got 4 starters out of this draft. I really do. And if you get 4 starters out of a draft of 7 rounds, you had a fucking terrific draft.
Yeah.
And that's what the Raiders did. The Raiders went out there. Wilson is a starter. Penciling in. Mayer, starter. Penciling in. Tucker is a guy that is a fringe starter because he's probably going to play a role where he's playing 70 to 80% of the snaps, right?
Yep.
And then Chris Smith is a stone cold lead pipe starter. You mark it down, take a picture. I don't give a fuck. And let me tell you guys something. Byron, mark it down.
Yeah.
You guys need to go look at this guy's tape. You need to look at the way the Raiders are going to use this man. Yep. This man is going to be a force in the middle of our defense. And the good thing is he's young, and you can pair him with Neil thick frame Farrell. Yes. And now you have a real rotation at defensive tackle. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. But guys, Mel Kiper Jr. has these boards every year. Yes. He has these players rated, and he believes in it. But let me tell you something, man. I've been watching Mel Kiper Jr. my whole life, and that guy is wrong a whole fucking lot.
So it's funny you said that, right? So we're going to go into Mel Kiper's top 10 NFL draft blunders, okay? We're going to go off of this. And yes, you guys, for those just tuning in, Mel gave us a B-, which from the outside looking in, it doesn't sound that bad. But he still stated that he found no value with what we did after round 2. Okay? So we're going off of that. This guy right here, and me and you know the Jimmy Clausen shit is hilarious because we're Notre Dame guys. But let's just do this. I love this. Shout to awfulannouncing.com. It's April, meaning it's time for Mel Kiper to be chronologically unfrozen to call the NFL draft for ESPN for the 33rd year in a row. This is from 2017, you guys. So this is 7 years ago. He's literally on his 40th year now. But we're going to go over some of his top blunders. Dishonorable mention, okay? Not including the top 10 because the take was not hot enough or there were mitigating circumstances such as player injuries. He ranked Andre High Stakes Wadsworth the number 1 overall prospect in 1998 in the draft, ahead of Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, and compared him to Bruce Smith, Hall of Fame Buffalo Bill Bruce Smith. So look at that top 10 right there. Charles Woodson, the GOAT, Peyton Manning, had Ryan Leaf at 4, and I think a lot of people had Leaf there. Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Nobody thought that was going to pan out the way it did. Keith Brooking and Curtis Enos, like the who's this?
Keith Brookins was a beast too.
Yeah, he was. But look at this. He said in 1995, Keanu Carter could be the next Bo Jackson.
Kagina high stakes Carter.
Bro, he called the Packers drafting Matt Hasselbeck in 1998 in the 6th round a waste of a pick. Matt Hasselbeck went on to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. Not going to say great, not going to say Hall of Fame, no shit like that.
Made a Super Bowl, damn it.
Yes, he played some really good years in the NFL. Gave the Seahawks 2012 draft a C- grade after they picked Bruce Irvin, Bobby Wagner, and Russell Wilson. In 2007, Wes Welker is not worth a 2nd-round pick. I don't care how much you like his work ethic. He has done nothing to show value that high. So, and mind you, the Wes Welker, I have to agree with him in a sense. I didn't think he was a 2nd-round pick, but he ended up working out for New England, right?
Man, he had a 2nd-round pick career like a motherfucker, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Had NFL draft bust Dan McGuire and Hall of Famer Brett Favre rated evenly as QB prospects before the 1991 draft. Thought 1988 29th overall pick and 4-time Pro Bowler Chris Billman would be a 4th or 5th round pick. That's crazy. Bro. Now let's get to the shit real quick.
Bro, there's two you forgetting. David Carr and Joey Harrington. He lauded those two bums. Oh my God. He loved David Carr.
Yep.
How did that turn out for you? And listen, I'll go and look, I know you guys are going to say, here I go talking about the Carr family. But man, I would have thought that David Carr was going to turn to be the next Peyton Manning, bro. Yeah. All of the things about the hitch in his throw and all of the little issues, that shit just went out the window. Mel Kiper, man, really, they need to get him off of ESPN at this point, bro.
Shout out to Joe. Brother, we are going to get to that. Trust me. Shout out to our dog with the $10 donation. We are definitely going to pick that piece apart because we all know way too well about Jamarcus Russell. And shout out to John as well on a $2 donation. We appreciate you, brother. As always, man, salute to you. Shout out to everybody here rocking with us tonight. Let's get to the rest of this. Rated LaDainian Tomlinson tied for the 25th best player in the 2001 draft. Yeah. Look, I get it. And what they said was, I guess he pretty much questioned his college dominance because of, playing in the Western Athletic Conference and blah, blah, blah. But to say that, LaDainian Tomlinson, he's one of the greatest running backs of all time. And
he destroyed college football, too.
If you watched him in San Diego, bro, the dude was a fucking dog, bro. Like,
but even at TCU, he's one of the best running backs I've ever seen in college, bro.
Yes.
Like, I don't see how you can look at the tape and make that assessment.
Said in 1990, the 7th overall pick, Andre Ware, would be an excellent NFL quarterback.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I was a big Andre Ware guy, right? And I could see how Mel Kiper Jr. got into that kind of frequency because the run and shoot was it was an offense that was sweeping the National Football League. The Houston Oilers were running a run and shoot. The Detroit Lions also was running the run and shoot. And this Mouse Davis's offense, the Atlanta Falcons did too at one point. And I think they thought because he got drafted by the Detroit Lions and Wayne Fontes and the Lions were running a run and shoot that Andre Ware would be a lot better than he was. They thought he was an upgrade physically over Rodney Peete, but it just didn't work out that way.
And I get it. He was, Heisman guy, came into the league. He had high hopes for him. But yeah, look, after 4 seasons in Detroit, Ware was out of the league for good and bounced around the CFL and NFL Europe. Another guy right here that I was high on out of Wake Forest. So I understand where he's coming from because he did dominate. Like, I remember watching him, bro. He was a dog at Wake Forest. Ranked Aaron Kerr the top overall prospect in 2009. I'm going to give him a little leniency here because I'm going to be real with you. I kind of agree with him. I watched him, and I thought he was going to be a dog. I know
he came to the Raiders. I was so fucking excited when he came to the Raiders. Oh, my God, I was excited. I was like, this is a Raider-ass move. He's going to turn his career around. And
I thought the same thing. And this guy was drafted 4th overall, only to finish his 5-year pro career with a total of 5.5 sacks. That's crazy. That's one though. I'll give him a little leniency because I was really high on him out of Wake Forest as well. Another guy that we know a lot about, wasted coming up in our era, said 1999's third overall pick, Achilles Smith, would be a great NFL player. Yeah, and like they said right here, his draft stock was high. He did play one phenomenal year at Oregon. And he did have like a jaw dropping kind of those pre-draft workouts. He was the underwear Olympic champion. But he said Achilles Smith will be a great NFL player. The passer they lacked since Boomer. Wait. What did he say?
Boomer Esiason.
And would be the passer they lacked since Boomer Esiason.
Boomer Esiason himself, yo.
Yeah.
Boomer was nice, though. I can't hate on Boomer. Boomer was nice.
Proclaim Johnny Manziel would be 2014's number 1 overall pick. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of agree with him at that point. I know I
don't fucking agree with him. John Gruden definitely agreed with him.
Yeah, but Gruden falls in love with every quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take anything that he says about quarterbacks with a grain of salt. He falls in love with all of them. That's why they gave him the QB camp. He talks to every single one of them like they're the next, you know what I'm saying, Joe Montana or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But this guy right here compared Manziel to Fran Tarkenton for the way he played the game.
Johnny Manziel's the next Fran Tarkenton, man.
Fran Tarkenton, bro. 9 Pro Bowls and won the 1975 NFL MVP. Yeah.
And owned every meaningful passing record before Dan Marino broke them all.
Now, this one is funny, and I love it because it's a Chief. Predicted that Ricky Stanzi would have the best career of the QB class of 2011. Now, let's go down the line of guys that came out in 2011. Cam Newton, way better career.
Andy Dalton.
He compared him to Tom Brady as well. Just want to say that. And Andy Dalton, 2 guys that have been to the playoffs. Let's keep it a buck. Andy Dalton's not the greatest quarterback, but he has been a very serviceable quarterback at the NFL level. You know what I mean? Like he really did play really well with Cincinnati those years when they were, perennial kind of.
Yeah, man. They were in the playoff mix every single year. Yeah. You can't take anything away from the Red Rocket, man.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, listen, I'm the same guy who thought that the Red Rocket had a better career in Cincinnati than our former QB did. But that's just me.
I mean, hey, you can say that though. But there you have it. Stans never stopped riding the pond and never threw a single pass in the NFL. I'm trying to figure out how you watched Cam Newton's decorated career at the collegiate level and that Stanzi rated over him. Make that make sense. And then watching Andy Dalton, was it TCU? Andy Dalton was at TCU, right?
No, I don't think so. Was he? I forget what a Rocket
was. It TCU? Let me see.
I forget, man.
I thought it was TCU. Let me see.
I forget, man.
I watched him in college. Let me see. I'm trying to see the red rifle, the red high stakes rifle.
Oh my God. Should have been our backup.
I'm trying to see.
It was TCU.
Yeah, it was TCU. Yeah. Watched him in college a lot. The guy was a dog at the collegiate level. But that's just crazy that he had him rated over those other guys. Number 4, said 1998 second overall pick. Ryan Leaf's attitude would be an asset in the NFL. For those who know, this is what he said. His attitude will be an asset in the NFL and give him a mental advantage over other players in this draft class. I think Ryan Leaf is more mature than Drew Bledsoe. He's very much a grown-up, 21 years old. Yeah.
More mature than Drew.
Yeah, and we see how that panned out. Now let's get to all the shits us Raider fans have been waiting for. Let me get the super in real quick. Shout out to our dog Gio before we go into our spiel. I watched 20 years of Mel Kiper's tape, and mark my words, this dude is a fucking bum. Can't evaluate, funny haircut, back up to Todd McShay, at best, D-. Yeah, I definitely value what Todd McShay says over Mel Kiper 10 times out of 10.
Look, thanks. I'm going to tell you the year effectively that Mel Kiper Jr. lost all credibility to me. The year was 2007. And it was the year that I heard him compare Jamarcus Russell, a guy who played one bowl game well against Notre Dame, as a John Elway level prospect, and saying that he's more Peyton Manning than John Gruden. I mean, he's more Peyton Manning than he is Michael Vick.
Yeah.
He's more Peyton Manning than he is Michael Vick. I mean, Jamarcus Russell. The Raiders haven't been good for a long time.
But think about that, Wasted. Jamarcus's game is not running around. So where does that comparison to Michael Vick come from,
bruh? Yeah, we know what it comes from.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. He's more Peyton Manning than he is Michael Vick. Yeah, it's a big statue in the pocket. I get the comparison, but you can't compare that guy to either one of those guys. But yeah, this is also Mel Kiper that we're talking about. Speaking of what our brother Wasted just said Jamarcus could be a top 5 NFL quarterback and was John Elway like at 2007 NFL draft. So let's say 3 years from now, you could be looking at a guy that's certainly one of the elite top 5 quarterbacks in this league. The skill set he has is certainly John Elway like. I don't know. There's no John Elway in his game. At all. Am I missing something? Because I don't remember this guy being mobile at all.
His arm, he could move a little bit for that era, but he couldn't move like Elway. I mean, it's like ridiculous, bro. He moved a little bit.
This shit is crazy to me, though. Like John Elway. All right, look, we're gonna skip over that because we're gonna go into this Jamarcus Russell spill, and we'll talk about that all night.
It's gonna careen into the abyss of nothingness.
Yes, exactly. Number 2, predicted that 2005 10th overall pick, Mike Williams, would be a Hall of Famer.
The guy who sat out with Maurice Corrett.
Yeah.
The guy who had speed like a tight end and was built like a tight end was going to be a Hall of Famer. You can tell this guy was going to be a bust with a capital B.
USC phenomenon. What he said was, I'll see you at his Hall of Fame induction. Give the Lions credit for going away from their biggest needs to take receiver Mike Williams. This is terrible. Williams ended up catching a total of 37 balls and 2 touchdowns in Motown. Williams did have one good season with the Seattle Seahawks, but his 127 career receptions and 5 touchdowns are hardly Canton worthy. And this is the one that we were laughing about for many moons right here. Wasted. Number 1.
Sir. Jimmy Clausen. Hey, if Jimmy Clausen isn't successful in the NFL, hey, man, I'm going to retire.
That's what
this man said. He said, if Jimmy Clausen, oh, God damn, it's the wrong avatar. If Jimmy Clausen.
Yo, he's stupid. This is what he said. Promised in 2010 to retire in 8 years if Jimmy Clausen wasn't a successful NFL quarterback. While most people view Clausen as a second-round pick, Kiper himself had him as the 4th best player in the entire draft. People were quick to point out that Kiper's rankings might be biased because of his friendship with Clausen's agent, which makes total sense. Something that Kiper scoffed at. If Jimmy Clausen is not a successful quarterback in the NFL, I'm done. That's it. I'm out. McShay says, what is your time frame, Mel? When do we make that assessment? Kiper says, I want 8 years. Kiper ended up with egg on his face when Clausen was drafted 48th overall by the Carolina Panthers. The bold prediction has looked even worse over the years as Clausen has been out of the league since 2015 after compiling a starting record of 1-13. If Kiper is true to his word, enjoy his last year calling the draft for ESPN at the end of this month. And this was in 2017, you guys. So, look.
Hey, Mel, it's about that time. We're looking at our watch. It's time for you to get out of here, buddy.
Time for you to get the fuck out of here. Shout out to JT. My gramps in the old folks' home said, when a resident craps his pants, they call it a Kiper. Old people know shit. Much love, my dog. Shout out to JT, our resident comedian. That is our guy right there, man. Also, man, real quick, shout out to our family, Max Rodriguez. Insert Gruden voice. Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. Jamarcus Russell, the way he slings the ball. Oh, man. Don't be surprised if you see the reincarnation of my guy, Rich Gannon. And he was a hell of a quarterback. Shout out to our dog, Max Rodriguez on the 20.
Let me tell you something, man. Jamarcus Russell, the way he slings that ball, man. Oh, man. Don't be surprised if he's the reincarnation of my guy, Rich Gannon, man. He's a hell of a quarterback. Guy's a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
sorry.
I mean,
sorry
he did have something in common with Rich Gannon around that time. They pretty much were both out of the league at the same,
Yes, sir. They were both sitting there watching football.
Yeah. So, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, we had to do this. We had to talk about this because it's just hilarious how wrong Mel Kiper, look, and don't get me wrong, you guys, it's a lot of football to dissect. I'm not going to kill Mel Kiper for maybe the 10 biggest, those 10 biggest, there's plenty more. We can go down the timeline of it if we want to, but if you're doing it for 40 years, you're going to get a lot wrong. We're not trying to beat up on Mel Kiper. But the thing is, when you say that after round 2, after you take the number 1 tight end in this draft, it's going to end up being probably a top 5 tight end in the next few years or so in the league. After that, it's just we kind of shit the bed. You got to kind of question what it is that he has going on.
But one reason why I wanted to do this? I wanted to do this because the fact that Mel Kiper Jr. hates our draft means that we had a fucking great draft.
Phenomenal draft.
A phenomenal draft. So I wanted to make you guys a little excited here because if Mel Kiper Jr. is shitting all over our draft, the years that I've seen him give us our props, we had shit drafts. I've seen this guy praise us for drafting Jonathan Abram, if I'm not mistaken, right? And it's funny, bro. There's a guy who on television, to me, is one of the best draft evaluators out there. But when he got with us, he wasn't. That's Mike Mayock. Yeah. Mike Mayock is one of the only people that I remember who questioned Jamarcus Russell's drive for football. Yeah. He said, big arm, he has it. Size, the guy knows how to read coverages, but I don't know whether he likes the game. Yeah. He zeroed in on that before anybody. Mike Mayock is one guy that I've seen in the draft get it right more often than not. And I would like to see Mike Mayock get another shot in the National Football League. I think he deserves it. You know what I mean? I think that
even after admitting that Clee was his mistake.
Yeah, but you know what? You get one, but there's a lot like Max Crosby and Hunter Renfrow. A lot of these guys that he picked, man, you got to give him a credit. And you got to look at the other players that John Gruden Pearl Harbored him on and said, no, you know what? Listen, you got 49% stake. I got 51. Guess what? This is who we're taking.
Yeah. And there's a few other guys. There's still question marks. You look at Divine Diablo, Malcolm Kuntz. From what I heard, those were Mayock guys. I was high on Malcolm Kuntz, but it looks like he doesn't even have a role on this team anymore. Divine Diablo is still kind of up, and Merrick, we're still trying to figure out what we have with him. But then you look back at those other guys, man. He took Trayvon Mullen. He's been on like 15 teams in the past season. Like, like a lot of these guys, man, it's like, damn, bro, you could not hit at all. And a lot of these guys aren't even in the league anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and let's be honest. They definitely hit on Ruggs. It's just Ruggs did some stupid shit, and ended up getting himself out the league. But that was a hit too. They definitely hit on Henry Ruggs. He was on his way to superstardom. Let's just keep that shit a buck, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So he definitely hit. That's one first rounder that I got to give these guys as well, because that definitely was a great pickup. You know what I mean? We look back at it now. It's easy to say we should have took Justin Jefferson
or CeeDee Lamb.
You know what I mean, of these guys. But I definitely think that they did hit on Henry Ruggs, but there's just too many mishaps. I don't know. I don't think Mike Mayock gets another chance in the league, but I do believe he'll get another job, evaluating talent and all the other stuff. I don't think that he's ready to be a GM. And if he is, he has to have a head coach that just leaves that shit up to him. You know what I mean? He doesn't need a guy like him that's so polarizing that says this all goes through me. You know what I mean? If you're the GM, bro, it's your job to sell your head coach on shit and not the total opposite. You know what I mean? And with Gruden, a guy that gets a 10-year deal pretty much guaranteed, it's like, okay. Yeah,
you got a coach that's the lord and master of the whole organization. It's hard to operate under those guys. And see, the reason why I would like to see Matt get because there are guys like Dave Gettleman, the former Giant GM, who was a GM by trade, has been terrible. There were a lot of guys that have been really fucking bad. And I got to give Mayock more credit than some of them guys. Look at some of the guys that have been in Detroit. Look at some of the guys who have been in Washington over the years. And they got way more time than him too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Shout out to Chris. Yes, brother, we will be doing a live show Thursday for the schedule release. I've already got the thumbnail ready to go. The team will be active, and we'll definitely be giving our predictions on our upcoming season. So stay tuned for that, Chris. Definitely we'll be breaking down the entirety of our schedule and giving our predictions week by week. We do that annually, brother. So we're going to make sure we keep that tradition going over here with Mount Shillmore, man. So stay tuned. Shout out to our brother JT once again. Kiper and David Carr, Raider hate. This is facts. You know what's funny? I seen David Carr low-key showing some love to the Raiders the other day, though, when it came to the draft. Even though they had the draft, all of our picks up, and they skipped over Trey Tucker. He wasn't even there. I don't know why he was not on the board at all. But David Carr he still had some snarky kind of remarks. Don't get me wrong. You could tell that, he's still on some weird shit. But he definitely did give us some love for our first round pick, our second round pick, and some other guys as well. If you guys haven't got a chance, I forgot where he works. Was it NFL? I don't know wherever the hell he is, but he showed us some love, but he definitely still has some backhanded kind of comments towards us.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, there's always going to be some energy there. You know what I mean? Look, if I had a brother that I felt was done wrong, which is a little delusional, I would always kind of take my little shots too. But at some point, bro, your brother got what he wanted. The Raiders got what they wanted. It's time to move on and be objective. And if not, he needs to get off of that channel. It's getting to that point where it's like, bro, like, come on with your fucking personal vendettas. Do the job.
And I think that may play a part in it as well, Wayne. People were calling him out. They kill him on Twitter all day about the Raider hate. And maybe even, his job said, let's kind of pump the brakes on the whole Raider hate.
Hey, the brass up there, NFL Network, definitely had to say that because really that was his end. Yeah. His end was that he had a direct line into the Raiders locker room. And that was always the thing. Yeah. At first it was James Jones because James Jones was Derek's teammate. Yes. Then it became David. Yeah. And now he doesn't have that anymore. So what's going to keep him on that channel?
Yeah. So did you see, man, I'm not going to turn this into a show where we're just killing everybody because I'm a huge fan of James Jones. I'm a huge fan of his story, playing at San Jose State in college, coming up in that area, being homeless. He has a great story. And I loved the pickup when we brought James Jones in. I thought he really helped Derek Carr, become a professional at the NFL level. I definitely will always, value what he brought to the football field. But I don't know if you've seen the show, bro. It was him, JT the Brick, and I believe Q. I think they did a show.
Yeah, I saw that.
They were talking about the draft, and I was like, damn, bro. Like, I ain't even gonna say shit, man. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Man. Like, wow, bro. Like, this is what we doing. And JT, my guy. You know what I'm saying? I got super love for JT the Brick. Some of the shit that James Jones was saying, I was like, wow. And Q knows this team like the back of his hand as well. But some of the shit of James was saying, I was like, wow, bro. Like, yo, do you watch this shit? Like, do you even watch this shit? Like, it's crazy. Shout out to Chuck, man. He definitely ain't got no hot take. This is facts. Shout out to Tyler as well. Shout out to my dog Chuck Taylor in the bill. We was just texting about some shit, man. So shout out to my guy Chuck. Shout out to Tyler. Thank you, Docs, Hammer, Andy, Wasted for every live show you guys do. Live shows, breaking news, rumors, all of it. Everybody subscribe to all the channels for live shows, everybody. Salute to our family right there, Tyler. Appreciate you on the kind words, my brother. We definitely appreciate that.
Hey, I want to address something real quick. Yo, Sean, the reason why the end for the Raiders was a little different is because Derek was the Lord and ruler and master of the Raiders organization. Yeah. But the Saints are we're in an organization. Drew Brees has been kind of the standard bearer for that organization. I don't think Derek has the same access with the Saints as he did with the Raiders. Damn. So that's a little different.
I literally just broke my 30-day cleanse right now. I didn't even think about that shit.
That's all right, man. Shout out to Woodson Whiskey. The whiskey's so good that it makes you break your cleanse. Shout out to Woodson Whiskey, everybody. It's all right.
I literally poured this just to salute everybody, and it's a wrap now. So now I'm taking it to the neck. Salute to everybody here in the building, man. Official schedule drop Thursday. See y'all in Vegas. Shout out to my dog. Long live. Shout out to Chuck, man. Hot take. Graphk was never wrong about Waller and Carr, and Wasted wasn't either.
That's right. Hey, man, listen, man, we have gotten the pitchforks. We have gotten people destroying us over our takes on these players. And guess what, man? Hey, man, Shieldmore Ben told you. That's all.
Hey, Hammer's in the chat right now. When Waller seen me at Marshawn Lynch's party, that man looked at me and kept it pushing. And I knew at that point, he did not fuck with me. But it's all love. Shout out to Darren Waller, man. I hope you go out there to New York and ball, bro. Real talk. Shout out to Hawk, man. If it wasn't for DC4, David Carr would be flipping burgers at BK, singing the Whopper song. Stupid. Shout out to my dog Hawk in the building, man. Let me see. He's stupid. The man, he said, yo, Wasted, where's the thick, wide hip, buff neck QBs at?
They're in New England. Mac Jones. There's Mac Jones. He got childbirthing hips.
That man has had 2 sets of triplets.
That's right.
In his first 2 years in the NFL. It's insane. Shout out to JT. Docs, how many team captains did we draft? Seems like a lot. Taking leaders. So I don't think right now, just off the rip, we're going to have one at all. But I'll say this. I think that there's potentially 3 guys that can be captains eventually. Not right now. We know we got Devontae. We got our guys. Jimmy G's probably going to end up getting a C on, on his jersey. Proven winner. Let's just state that. I think that our tight end, man, I think Michael Mayer is going to end up being a captain at some point. Hard-nosed football player, great at everything on the field. I think he's going to be one. I think Tyree eventually will when Chandler moves on after this next season. I think Tyree Wilson can be one eventually.
I think Chris Smith. I'm sorry, Graphk. Didn't mean to cut you off, bro. Chris Smith is a guy who reminds me a lot of Deron Harmon, right? And he's a guy that I think on the back end of that defense is going to be a general for us. I think and I'm writing an article about this on Planet Raiders. Shout out to Planet Raiders, guys.
PlanetRaiders.com, you guys. If you have not checked out the website, we're going to be dropping a lot here soon.
Yes. I'm writing an article now how the Raiders have actually put a premium on players from winning cultures.
Yeah.
That winning comes and pours into an organization when you have guys that played national championship teams, guys who are leaders on those teams. I think Chris Smith, more so than anything, was brought in here because not only is he a great young player, right, but he was one of the leaders on the defense with a bunch of talented young men, man. And they did a lot of winning down there in Georgia, man. A lot of winning, bro. And I love what they're doing, man. I love them bringing in, guys from Alabama, guys from Georgia, guys who knows what it's like to win, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. That's what we've always needed here. Yeah,
definitely. Shout out. I love that Chuck said I'm also a Notre Dame guy. And then the comment right under that is our brother Jason Hunter, who was another diehard Notre Dame fan. He says, "What's up, fellas? Hope y'all are having a blessed night. You as well, my brother. Salute." Hey, yo, Jay, if you're free this weekend, bro, I'm doing something at the Cigar Lounge by the Nebraska Furniture, man. If you want to rock with me, let me know, brother. DM me. We're going to meet up with a couple other Raider fans. We're going to go out there and kick it. Let me know if you're free, brother. Salute to my dog, Jay, man. Shout out to Jonah as well. Weird question. Which of our rookies do y'all think will have the best-selling jersey? Oh, it's going to be Michael Mayer, I think.
Yeah.
In the next couple of years. Who's him from this draft? It has to be because he's that all-American white, you know what I mean? Like he's Rob Gronkowski. You know what I'm saying? Like they call him Baby Gronk for a reason. I think that Michael Mayer is going to be the one that sells more jerseys than anybody. And
he's good. And the thing with him is he's clean cut too. He's a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
And he also looks scarcely similar to the father from the Wonder Years. So look, listen,
holy shit, bro.
Yeah, you got to pull up the father from the Wonder Years.
Oh no, that is crazy.
He looks like a fucking state trooper, man.
And he has black hair though. But yeah, oh my God, bro.
Michael, high stakes, Wonder Years Mayer.
Hold on, dog. Yo, bro, you hit that shit on the head, bro. That's crazy, bro. Yo,
that guy was always grumpy.
Michael Wonder Years Mayer, bro. That's what we're gonna call him moving forward.
Yo.
That is funny, dog.
Mayer years.
Mike says, I was just thinking if O'Connell starts at some point, he's got to get rid of that dirty Sanchez mustache and look like he's allowed near schools. Facts, though, Mike. We're definitely going to talk to him about that stash when we get him on the show.
Bro, he needs that stash, man. That stash is where most of his player power lies, man. He can't get rid of the stash. He needs to look like a fucking a roadie for an 80s porno. That's what gives him his powers. He's the guy who holds the boom mic on the old 80s porno. Hey, man, you playing with that?
Shout out to Jason. Michael Mayer, go Irish. Shout out to my dog. Shout out to JT. He said, I meant captains on their college teams. Okay, so we're talking about leaders coming out of school. I don't know. We have to look that up. That's actually a good question, bro. That's a good question. I mean, look, those Georgia Bulldogs had a lot of talent. So I don't know if he was one. Michael Mayer had to have been a captain at Notre Dame. Tyree Wilson had to have been one at Texas Tech.
I mean, who else was there? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Tyree Wilson was the guy. He's one of the highest. he's one of the highest drafted players that ever come out of Texas Tech.
I think the only other guys that could potentially would be Aiden O'Connell because he was a starting quarterback, Jacorian maybe, but but he was even overshadowed by Deonte Banks. And then you have to look at Trey Tucker wasn't for sure. Maybe Byron Young.
No, Young, he wasn't a captain, but he played for a winning program though.
Yeah, but maybe Chris Smith was, Joseph. I don't know. That's a really good question though, bro. We got to look that up. Let me see. Wasted made up a brand. Laugh out loud. Shout out to Van City. Wasted Docs. Are you guys planning on being at the home? Bro, I'm gonna be at every home game. Blackout. I'll be in Vegas pretty much every home game. Throwing parties. Yeah, all in a lot, man, at Allegiant Stadium. We'll be all over the place. And Wasted is definitely going to pick a few weeks to come blackout with us as well. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to be there in all my splendor.
Yeah.
Graphk, Wasted, Hammer. We all are going to be participating in this blackout movement is something y'all got to take serious, man.
Yes.
Y'all really do, man. Get with it or get lost.
Facts.
And we're also going to have some other things popping up coming very, very soon.
Yeah. Facts.
It's a Shieldmore takeover this year.
It's going to be insane. Shout out to Wayne. Graphk, you interviewing O'Connell. Yes. So tomorrow, you guys, me and Stu, we're doing a special coffee and convo. We're going to talk about Aiden O'Connell's stats, talk about some of his tape. You know, Stu watched every game of him at Purdue, so I'm going to get his take on Aiden O'Connell. And then in the next week or so, we're trying to get he's already committed to the show. We're just trying to find a time and day that works for him because he's literally in the middle of a move between Indiana and Las Vegas. He just got drafted. So there's a lot going on right now, but he will be on the show soon, Wayne. He already committed to the show. We're just looking for a time. So you'll definitely know very soon when we're going to have our new quarterback on. Shout out to our brother Ridge back in the building. Wilson beat out Mahomes as the highest Texas Tech player draft. Damn. Think about that. 7.
I just said I was right.
Yeah, that's facts. Let me see. Shout out to Junior Land. Just joined the live, but the blackout events are official. And they're only going to get bigger, bro. They're only going to get bigger, my brother. I'm telling you now. This shit is going to be dope this upcoming season.
Yeah, man. It's all about putting on, man. Going out there and like, it's cool to do this shit from your basement or, from the comfort of your own home. And if you really don't want to get out there and like meet the people where they are. But, man, it's nothing better than guys from the nation linking up and having a good time, man, having some drinks, having some food, watching the game together, man. It's nothing better than that. And we're all about that. Yeah,
facts. We definitely going to have some fun this season. I'm going to tell you that right now. Shout out to Pale Moon. Too many of the draft analysts projected Mayer to the Cowboys. I could see that. I just didn't believe it. I hope Mayer works out for you guys. Salute to you, man, Pale Moon. Appreciate you, brother. Real talk. Shout out to Jay. Says, I want to know when Waste is out there too. Want to chop it up with y'all. Definitely, bro. Definitely. And I'm trying to get Wasted out here to Dallas as well soon, Jay. So
yes, facts.
Whenever he pulls up, we'll definitely kick gang with you, brother. Oh, I have to say this real quick too. I haven't gotten a chance to do it because I really haven't been live like that. I just want to give a big shout out and a big congratulations to our brother Mitchell Renz. He just got engaged to the love of his life. Alex, shout out to sis. Salute to him. He threw a little engagement party the other day. I was supposed to pull up, man. I couldn't find a babysitter for my son, so I had to sit it out. But I want to tell Mitchell Renz, man, our brother, man, Raider brother, salute to you. As always, brother, love you to death and congratulations. It's a beautiful thing. Welcome to the Married Club, man. If you got any questions about marriage, you got two guys on this screen right now that you can always lean on, my brother, anytime you got questions about what's going on.
That's a fact, man.
In terms of marriage.
Hey, Mitch, man, another thing, man, congratulations for myself. And also, man, Mitch, look, man, if you ever feel compelled to wear pants that tight again, bro, we gonna knuckle up when I see you, bro. Don't ever wear no pants like that, man. I know when you took the motherfuckers off, it was like opening a can of biscuits. Yeah. Don't you ever do that shit again, man.
Them motherfuckers was tight as shit too.
Bro, that shit was yeah, that boy had them sugar slacks on, bro. Yo, and real quick, somebody was asking whether Chris Smith was a 3-year permanent captain for the Georgia Bulldogs. He started in each of the last 2 national championship games. So Chris Smith was a captain.
There you go. A proven leader on that team with all those phenomenal ball players, man. I love it. Shout out to Little Tiger. I don't know what channel that is, but it doesn't matter. Thank you so much. for becoming a member of my channel or Oasis channel. We salute you so much. Appreciate you, family. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, hit the join button on both of our channels. It's definitely appreciated. Shout out to Hawk. Gonna be look, Q&A moving forward. We're gonna have some fun before we get out of here. Gonna be week 18. O'Connell starting. O'Connell drops back, finds Dorsett, deep TD. Raiders 52, Denver 14. The AFC West has a new king now. QB Farver. Damn, he went back to the 52 to 14. He went back to the Run DMC laughing on the sideline. Like old boy on Tales from the Hood.
Yeah. That was a long.
You're going to hell. Yeah, that had the Run DMC. I mean the Run DMC joint. Let me see. Kuiper found a fanboy. He said, "What up, Sugar Slacks?"
Sugar. Nah, man. Mitch, my dog. But you know it's funny, man. Anytime I'm mentioned or Mitch is mentioned, we have this thing where we crack on each other.
Oh yeah,
and it's
definitely.
okay. That's what we do, man. Pay no mind to that. Mitch is our dog, man. And I'm really happy for him, bro, because he deserves.
They look like two fruit roll-up wrappers. You gotta peel them motherfuckers off your legs and shit.
Yeah, that's just funny as hell, yo.
That's just funny, bro. Salute to everybody here in the building, man. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up if you are not subscribed to the channel yet. Hit that subscribe button, man. This show moving forward, you guys, is y'all. We got about a good 10, 15 more minutes before we get up out of here. I know Wasted got to go to work. I'm going to spend some time with the wife tonight, but we can definitely kick game for a few minutes if you guys have some questions. Get your comments in. Let's have some fun real quick before we shake, rattle, and roll up out of here, man.
I got about 2.5 minutes of thunderous lovemaking to make.
Ooh.
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes.
Yo, listen, it's a new record. So
phenomenal work out here. Phenomenal work out here in these streets.
Right, motherfucker wife is asleep.
Wasted is doing God's work with 2.5 minutes. Shout out to Zach. Do you see Matthew Butler being a key piece to the D line? I hope so. I mean, shit.
I don't. I thought Matthew Butler would be that last year, but the thing about Matthew Butler is that he was an older guy anyway. He was a guy who got that extra year, with COVID and everything like that. And I don't really see him making that big jump. It's not the same thing with some of the younger guys where they still have like more room to grow. I think Matthew Butler is kind of at his threshold already. Because I think Matthew Butler right now, what's he like 25, 26 right now?
Yeah, he's 20. I thought it was 24, 25.
I was saying 25 or 26 because I'm thinking when he got drafted, Matthew Butler.
I'm hoping though that he's a big part of what we got going on. He was one of the first, picks from this regime, and we need as much help as we can in the interior of that defensive line. Like bad.
I mean, he's a decorated player, man. It's just that I expected him to come right in and pay dividends because of the fact that he was an older guy, because of the fact that he was a leader at Tennessee. I just don't really understand why they didn't play him a lot last year. And the thing is, I'm not saying he's not going to be successful in actually like the league, but I don't know. Maybe it's because he was a rookie, but I'm just wondering why he didn't play a lot last year. There was no good reason for him not to.
Shout out to GA, man. I love that question. Look, we're both very, very high on Curtis McClendon. You know what I'm saying? Out of Chattanooga. I think that he could potentially be a starter. Like real talk. He could potentially win that right guard spot. But I definitely think he makes the roster and he definitely he carves out a nice role with this team. And for our guy, was it David Obabo? I don't know how to say.
I can't pronounce his name word for shit. Yeah. I'm not even going to try.
Shout out to our little bro, Andy, that he had him on the show the other day. I don't know enough about him. It's like this, you know what I mean? But the good thing about him is he has all the measurables, right? And he doesn't take up a roster spot. That's the great thing, that he'll be there and he still doesn't take up a roster spot because of the whole new, rule that they got applied with, what is it called? The IPP, or I forgot what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm excited to see what he can do. But the cool thing is you don't have to cut him. You have to do any of that because he does not take up a roster spot. You know what I mean? So, but he's just literally, to me, is I question mark.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, nobody has any tape on the guy.
None.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, we were trying to find pictures of the guy to put on the thumbnail. We couldn't, right? So he looks the part. He damn sure looks the part. No disrespect to the guy. He looks the part, man. there's certain guys on this earth that are meant to play football, and he's one of them, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we can't sit up here and actually tell you that we think he's going to be anything, because we've never seen this man play.
Yeah.
He just looks the part.
Yeah.
Do we hope he's anything? Does he look the part? Yeah. But we have no footage on this guy. We are not going to sit up here and lie to you and tell you that, oh, yeah, he's got a shot. It's a little different.
He could be either Bam, just doesn't pan out, has all the measurables in the world, or he could be somebody, a surefire steal that actually really gets some reps with us. So until we really see what he's doing and we get some tape on him, I can't even evaluate the player. But he seems like a cool dude. Tucker was a team captain in Cincinnati. Dope.
Yeah,
I like that.
We got a bunch of team captains, man. We got guys that are coming in that are going to be leaders. And the good thing about good leaders know how to follow too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Shout to Jazz. I watched a lot of Trey Tucker's tape. He had a lot of work out of his slot, caught a lot of balls over the middle of the field. He just feels like a good NFL slot to me. Shout out to Jazz in the building as well. Yeah, I got high hopes for Trey Tucker. I think this guy's going to be a dog for us. And it's been forever since we've really been able to return kicks. Like, I'm excited to see an explosive player out there that can take one to the crib any chance he gets the ball in his hand. So I'm excited about Trey Tucker a lot.
Yeah, that's a fact. And you know what I'm excited about? I think there's certain things that have been missing from the Raiders for the last 10 years. Us getting after the quarterback consistently, us turning the football over, us having depth in the interior of the defensive line, right? And also us having a guy who's a home run threat in the special teams.
Yeah.
Been a long time, probably since Cordell Patterson, and it was very weird that we didn't use Cordell Patterson the way we probably should have. It's him, and then there was a kid got Dwayne Harris.
Yeah, Dwayne Harris. Remember that one he ran back against Denver?
Against Denver on Christmas Eve. Yeah,
beautiful. But that's probably the last kick we returned.
Yeah. But the thing is that I noticed that they've attacked a lot of the weaknesses, and that's the reason why when the draft happened. When you're in the moment, you have the people that you value, right? But the thing that I notice is, and this thing we always got to realize, our board is what it is based off of other people's mock drafts, what we see, and our limited, we like us, Graphk and myself, and we get access to tape, right? Some guys don't, right? We get to watch tape, but we don't watch that tape for a complete living like some of these guys do.
No.
And you got to understand something. They know what they need in their scheme and their building. Yeah. So once I looked at that and I saw they filled certain gaps on their team and they feel like this guy fills the role that they need filled, I'm okay with whoever they took. The only issue I had, and I was saying today, I don't want to go back to my live because this is a Graphk and Wasted show, but when I was talking about Tyree Wilson, I am very, very sensitive to the Liz Frank injury. I remember that injury really ruined Darren McFadden's career. Yeah. I'm very, very concerned about that. And I hope that everything goes right. I don't want to be the wet blanket, but if you ask Wasted why he was kind of like had some trepidation about that pick, that was why.
I think Ziegler is smart enough to not shit on that first round pick. I think that they know what's going on. They're happy with, the updates that they're getting. I think that Wilson's going to be ready to go. They know how much that first round pick meant to the organization, the fan base. We haven't hit on one since Josh Jacobs, and before then it's been forever. So I do believe since Colton Miller, let's just keep it a buck. You know what I mean? So I think Zeke did his due diligence and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. I'm very comfortable with Tyree Wilson, but I understand why you're worried because we're Raider fans. Every chance we were there thinking we're going to win a championship at 12-4, and then DC breaks his fucking leg, and next thing you know,
man.
You know what I mean? Like, so we're used to it. We're used to just shit happening. So look, I get it.
My old man used to say, man, I got the worst luck in the world. He goes, man, if it was raining pussies, I come up with a bucket of dicks. Yeah.
Go. The GOAT. Shout out to Big John. I'm telling you now, bro, Trey Tucker is not Jacoby Ford. Go watch the tape. He is not Jacoby Ford. Ford had questionable hands as well. He was drafted because of his speed. I remember watching him drop so many footballs. It was just nerve. Like, oh my God. He is not Jacoby Ford. I'm telling you this right now.
You know what? When he used to take it to the house, he damn sure used to take it to the house, boy.
Yeah.
If he could do it, just a little of that, I'm okay with it.
But the speed is there. But if you watch Trey Tucker, better footwork, better route runner, better hands. I don't think he's anywhere near Jacoby Ford. All that they have in common is the speed element. That's it. Both those guys possess two different games. I'm telling you now, if you watch the tape, bro, these guys are totally different athletes.
He was way more productive than Jacoby Ford. Jacoby Ford is more Tyreek Hill than he is Jacoby Ford. And I'm calling it right now.
Trey Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker, I'm sorry. But yo, he's more Tyreek Hill than that.
If you can get an inkling of Tyreek Hill, I'm very happy with the pick.
Look, him and Zay Flowers are two guys that I'm very excited to watch this year. I think they're going to wind up being the two best receivers taken in this draft. Oh, and also Addison.
The only reason I'm questioning Zay Flowers is because he went to Baltimore. They're a run-heavy team. If they better change up what they got going on over there, because Lamar's already upset. Every receiver that leaves that organization is always saying, you guys have no idea what we're going against. Like in terms of how that offense is ran, I'm hoping. I like Zay a lot out of Boston College, and I know Mayock is very happy. He's a Boston College guy. It's funny. So Zay Flowers probably would have been a Raider if Mayock was around.
Yeah. I think that the fact that they paid Lamar Jackson the way they did, I think they're going to have to protect their investment. Yeah. I don't think they're going to have as many design runs from Lamar Jackson. I think they're going to make a concerted effort for him to throw the football more.
Jacoby Ford was a poor man's James Jett. You know what's crazy, Matt? I got to say Jacoby's hands were better than James. I used to watch Jett
drop straight touchdowns on a weekly basis. Haas throwing it up to him. He'd have his hands over his head and just boom, just right up. Yo, James Jett is the most maddening player I think
ever.
Yo, I used to be like, this motherfucker. Him, and you know who else? Alexander Wright. Two fast motherfuckers
for no reason.
The ball by themselves, the ball hitting them in their helmet and shit like that. Look like they never played the game again in their life. At least James Jett rounded into a kind of a decent player. Alexander Wright, man. But
they were just fast for nothing. Oh, JT says McClendon Curtis, Dalton Wagner out of Arkansas, Drake Thomas, all UDFAs, all team captains. We went and got leaders. I love that. We went out and got a bunch of leaders.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I'm glad with this draft, bro. I'm glad with the draft. As I sit back, when you're going through, like I said, we have these players that we value higher than other players. Like last year, we talked about Brian Asamoah all offseason. Yeah. Guy didn't do a goddamn thing this year.
Well, I have to say I was the only one that was not on that ship.
No, you definitely weren't. Andy and I were. He didn't do a goddamn. Now, is he going to do something this year? Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. There's still hopes for him. He's year 2. You know what I mean?
Travis Jones, guys like that.
Yeah.
I was high.
Damn, I forgot about Travis. That was a guy that we all had on our mock drafts out of Connecticut.
I'm high on him. I think he's going to play a lot better. But it's just some of these guys, man, that people have rated. You're going to look back in 3 years and no one's going to give a fuck about them.
Yeah, this is facts. What about Cam Sims, y'all? To be real, 510, this guy may not even make this roster. You know what I'm saying? The young guy that came over from the Commanders, a guy that I initially thought that they may try to convert to tight end because of his measurables. He played a little tight end at Alabama, and then we went out and got a bunch of tight ends and drafted one. I don't know where Cam Sims lies on the depth chart now. Maybe he's that big body guy that you put on the outside and have him be that Mac Hollins kind of guy. Just run a 9 route. Go out there he's not going to be the greatest route runner for you. Maybe he's a guy that can get some shit done in the red zone for us. But I don't really have too many high hopes for Cam Sims at this point now because of how many receivers we have. You know what I mean? Since then, we went and got DeAndre Carter. We got Jacoby. We have Trey Tucker now. It's just then we brought back Keelan Cole. It's like I don't know where this guy even lies in terms of the depth chart.
Keelan Cole doesn't make it. I think, the Rook's going to make it, of course. Jacoby Myers is, pencil that in stone. We're going to lose Hunter Renfrow probably. If we don't lose Hunter Renfrow, then a couple of these other guys aren't going to make it too, right? But the thing with Cam Sims is like, can he play special teams? Does he have any positional value outside of being a wide receiver? Because if he doesn't, then he's going to get cut. Because the rest of these guys are like Swiss Army knife kind of players, right? The guys that are going to start, like Jacoby Myers, he's a guy that can play outside. He can play in the slot. He can play all over the field. The same thing with Tucker, right? But even with Hunter Renfrow's been established in the National Football League. So he only does what he does, but he does that very, very well. The rest of the guys behind these guys, if they can't do anything on the special teams and the things, they will not make this team.
Yeah. One thing to keep an eye on, you guys, because King Josh says Renfrow ain't going to go anywhere, right? keep an eye on those post-June cuts. If there's some real talent out there, a linebacker like JT saying, like, how do we feel about the linebacking? Bro, I'm very questionable, very young. You're putting a lot on these young guys, a lot of UDFAs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one room that we have to improve. And looking around the NFL right now, if Patrick Queen gets cut, right? If there's a couple names out there. There's the Isaiah Simmons of the world, right? Guys that potentially can get cut, and you free up some money with Hunter Renfrow. You could bring some of these guys in. If we look at that talent post June and we're like, there really ain't too much out there, maybe he sticks around, or maybe the plan is to keep him anyway. Maybe all this Renfrow shit was just hype. Maybe these guys are still high on him. We don't know. But yeah. I just, he's a guy, man, that you throw out there and he kind of just runs his own design routes. Josh McDaniels kills those kind of guys because he wants them to run the exact route that he drew up. And Renfro's more of a guy that'll go out there, do the China route and get creative and do some things.
Sandlot football, man.
Sandlot football. There you go.
Josh McDaniels doesn't play sandlot football.
No,
he
not at all.
You to run what he calls. And
yes.
If you don't, you can go.
Yeah.
And that's and if you look at it, you look at guys from Alabama, right? If you play for Nick Saban, that is the kind of shit that they have going down there.
Yep.
It is not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. They feel like the X's and O's are higher than the Jimmies and Joes. Yeah. They've always thought that. They think that, Bill Belichick has actually wrote, and Tom Brady saw it in the scout report, he used to feel like there were 15 quarterbacks that he could win a Super Bowl with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
15 in that Super Bowl league.
And the thing is, you guys, all that success from Hunter Renfrow came from John Gruden allowing him to freelance. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I don't know if Josh feels that he can get it done in his system, but we shall see soon. We have a few more weeks. June 1st is coming right around the corner. We shall see if this guy moving forward will be a Raider. We all love Hunter Renfrow. I think we all can agree if his contract wasn't that $11-12 million range, that we'd be like, keep him. You know what I'm saying? But that's we still need help on the defensive side of the ball. And now we're so deep at wide receiver. It's just,
bro, we got $43 million tied up in a wide receiver position. You can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't have that, bro.
We're like third in the league right now. We're like third in the league.
Yeah, $43 million tied. You have to get rid of one of them guys. Yeah. And the fact that they felt like they need to address the receiver position in that way, the first big free agent signing pretty much was a fucking wide receiver. That goes to show you they're not keeping him. Yeah. They're not keeping him, bro. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says.
I think
you drafted one, right? And then you got one in free agency. That means you felt like you needed to address it. Now, I know that's the same logic that we used for Josh Jacobs last year.
Yeah. Because
they went out and they drafted brought all these running backs in.
Yeah.
But man, the kind of money Hunter Renfrow is making shows you which way they're going to go. Because if they're going to free up any money, the two ways they can free up money, they've already done one. They restructured Chandler Jones, right?
$5 million.
Then you got to get rid of Hunter, and then you got to get rid of
Andre James.
Bilal Nichols, too. That's another guy that you can
Brandon Bolden as well. Two guys, Brandon Bolden and Bilal Nichols, can get you, I think, $6-7 million.
Yeah.
And then Andre James is like $6.5 million or something like that. So, we shall see. I think Andre James will remain a Raider, but I would not be shocked. And I said this on your live earlier. I would not be shocked if they decided to put Parham at center, Muti at left guard, and then McClendon if he wins that right guard spot, or if they decide on, Mumford. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't want it to play out like that. I want to keep Parham at guard. And I'm good with Andre James at center, but that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money to free up, but it just depends on what talent is still out there, at your disposal to go get. Let me read this super real quick. Good night, y'all. I'll leave you with the question. Are you guys comfortable? I think we kind of answered that, JT. We're both not comfortable with that linebacker room at all.
No, not at all, man. But the thing we got to ask is, are they comfortable with it because they don't value the position as much as others? Because I kind of think if you look at what they've been doing, they're getting defensive backs and kind of using them in that linebacker role.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the safeties that they brought in, they're hard-hitting, close to the line guys. They're guys that are going to be close and kind of shoot the gaps and try to make tackles in the backfield and stuff like that. So they don't have a lot of cover safeties. One of their biggest free agent, Marcus Epps, is a guy who is kind of like a box safety almost, right? So I feel like that's the reason why they haven't gone out there and got a lot of linebackers, because positional versatility is more of a fucking premium to them than actual linebackers by trade. They, like Isaiah Palomalo putting on 25 pounds. Don't overlook that. Don't overlook the signing of Marcus Epps. Don't overlook the Chris Smith signing. These are guys who can lay the wood and they can play close to the line of scrimmage. The good thing about Chris Smith is he can do it all. So if you look at that, I think they're going to be using some of these safeties as like kind of hybrids.
They're going to try and use him like Troy Polamalu. They're going to have him close to the line of scrimmage, going after the quarterback. I'm excited to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. And I'm not saying he's going to be anywhere near Troy Polamalu. I'm just saying they're going to try and utilize him as a guy that can, get him close to the line of scrimmage, box guy, play back as safety. He can play both positions as safety. You know what I mean? Strong and free. Like I'm excited to see what this guy's going to do.
And don't forget about the Amari Burney signing.
Yeah,
this is a former DB now look at all the linebackers they've signed. Yeah. Amari Burney, Masterson is another versatile guy, right?
Yeah. Spillane is a straight linebacker.
Spillane is the only one, right? So what they did with Robert Spillane is people say that we should go sign Miles Jack, but Spillane took Miles Jack's job last year.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that was that from injury or by just straight up play?
We didn't watch them enough. I heard kind of both sides where he took his job or Jack got hurt, then he took over, and then Miles, I don't know, he just kept the job. I don't know what it is, but I don't really care enough about the Pittsburgh Steelers to even really break that down. You know what I mean? But I hear you, bro, because we've heard conflicting stories about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he take his job or did he get it because he got hurt? Either way, Spillane is a Raider now. I want to see what this guy can do. I know a lot of people are low on that signing, and then there's some other guys saying you guys are going to be very, very surprised about how he's going to play. So I don't know. We shall see, but I'm still worried about that linebacker position. I'm still worried, man. Like,
if we can get one starting linebacker who's had some kind of a history in the league of being a good linebacker, that's a linebacker by trade.
Van Noy.
A guy that can replace like Denzel Perryman. Like, and I'm not saying he has to be a Mike, but just a guy who's been a solid linebacker. I'm cool with it, man.
Amari Burney was another team captain. There we go. I love it. I love that shit. Real quick, man. Phenomenal show again with my brother Wasted Talent. Shout out to everybody here in the building. Big middle finger to Mel Kiper. We had to shine some light on him tonight. Salute to everybody here in the chat as well for always rocking with us. You guys have made this off season phenomenal for us. You know, you guys are the reason that we put in so much work. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. You guys keep us, on our toes. You guys keep us on our shit in the chat. I just want to say we salute you guys so much. I know we'll be back for sure this week. It's been so slow. I know me and Stu are going to do a coffee and convo tomorrow, breaking down the Aiden O'Connell pickup. Purdue guys, they know each other very well. We're going to pick his brain about Aiden. I know Wasted to be back very soon. Until things start heating up, you guys understand you got to just be a little patient with us because we don't want to just come online and just talk just to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to make sure that we have something to speak about. When you're reaching, you look like you're reaching. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So
just call me Plastic Man because I've been reaching. Nah. But yeah, you're right, man. Look, man, we want to make sure that we keep some integrity, right? You got to have integrity. That's the one thing I think that Shieldmore, as a unit tries to bring to this thing, integrity, right? Yeah. Have integrity and bring some credibility to what we're talking about. So if there's no credibility and no integrity in the game, I'm going to stay away from it.
There you have it. Shout out to everybody here in the building, man. Wipe them feet, y'all, on the way out. Pay your bar tabs on the way out. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. Salute to you guys. Once again, planetraiders.com. Wasted is going to be dropping some more articles. Big Mike's going to be dropping some stuff. Also, woodsonwhiskey.com. Shout out to the GOAT Chuck. Real quick on the way out as well. The blackoutdivision.com. You guys go put your email in. And you guys can be in the running to win 2 home opener tickets and a whole slew of other shit as well. So go to blackoutdivision.com, put your email in there, and you'll definitely be in the running to win a bunch of shit. Once again, salute. And OakLosVegas.com. Go grab some drip, you guys. I covered my stuff up today because I wanted to be rated out. You know what I mean? But, we got the OLV, all the new drip on OakLosVegas.com. With that being said, we're going to go with the outro. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We go. Wow.
This is not a test. This is an emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.